Betrayal doesn't come from your enemies, it comes from those you trust most. The friend who suddenly turns cold, the partner who walks away without explanation, the colleague who stabs you in the back when you least expect it. And the worst part? You never saw it coming. Today we're diving deep into the silent but sharp world of betrayal to uncover why those closest to us can sometimes become the sources of our greatest disappointments. But why does this happen? How can someone switch from friend to foe overnight? Is there a way to spot the signs before the damage is done? Drawing on ancient Stoic wisdom and modern psychology, we'll explore the hidden mechanisms of betrayal and how you can guard yourself against it without losing faith in the power of human connection. This is more than just a discussion. It's a journey into understanding one of the most painful aspects of our social lives, and I promise, by the end of this video, you'll look at your relationships through a new, more empowered lens. If you find value in what we're discussing here, a simple, free way to support us is to hit that subscribe button. And don't skip any part of the video. Each piece of information could be the key to unlocking deeper insights into human nature and your personal peace of mind. Let's get started. Understanding the roots of betrayal. Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal? It's a pain that seems to come from nowhere, yet it cuts deeper than many others. Imagine a friend who has been by your side for years suddenly stops calling without any apparent reason. Or consider a partner who one day turns cold and walks away, leaving only silence and confusion in their wake. These scenarios involve the people we've trusted the most, making the betrayal not just a surprise, but a deep emotional blow. Betrayal is often portrayed as a dramatic turn of events in stories and films, but in real life it can be much quieter, yet just as devastating. It is not the enemies who pose the greatest threat in this regard, but those closest to us. As Carl Jung, a pioneer in psychology, insightfully observed, "The larger the front, the larger the back." This means that our deepest hurts often come from where we least expect, behind the masks of those we believe we know best. This reality echoes the Stoic understanding of life's unpredictability and the importance of internal fortitude. Stoics like Seneca taught that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control our reactions and thus remain undisturbed by external misfortunes. In the context of betrayal, this philosophy helps us to not only anticipate the potential for such acts, but also to maintain our composure when they occur. Betrayal, in many ways, tests our ability to see and understand human nature clearly. It forces us to question our judgments about others and to reflect on the nature of our relationships. Are we truly seeing others as they are, or as we wish them to be? This questioning is not an invitation to cynicism, but a call to realism, a core tenet of both Western philosophy and Stoic thought. By understanding the psychological underpinnings of betrayal, as discussed by thinkers like Jung, we can better prepare ourselves for the complexities of human relationships. Jung's concept of the shadow, the darker, unacknowledged parts of our personality, suggests that often those who betray us are acting out of unresolved inner conflicts. They may not even fully understand their motives, driven by parts of themselves that even they have not fully come to terms with. As we navigate our relationships, it is wise to remain vigilant and compassionate, understanding that each person we meet carries an inner world as complex and potentially troubled as our own. This perspective doesn't just protect us from hurt. It enriches our understanding of human behavior, grounding us in a deeper sense of empathy and preparedness. As we explore further, let's delve into how we can detect the signs of betrayal and shield ourselves, not with suspicion, but with wisdom and insight. The seed of betrayal, internal conflict. When we think about why people betray others, it's tempting to view their actions as purely malicious or self-serving. However, If we peel back the layers, we often find a tangle of psychological complexities and unresolved internal conflicts at the heart of their actions. Carl Jung introduced us to the concept of the shadow self, a part of our psyche where we stash away those traits and impulses we deem unacceptable or unpleasant. These hidden aspects don't just vanish. They simmer beneath the surface, influencing behavior in ways the individual may not even fully understand. This inner conflict is not far from the Stoic understanding of the inner turmoil that results from failing to live in accordance with reason and nature. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, often spoke of the inner citadel, a fortress of virtue and reason within each person. When individuals fail to reconcile their internal contradictions and instead allow their shadow selves to steer the ship, the results can be destructive, not just to others but to their own well-being. Imagine a friend who has always been supportive suddenly starts acting out of envy or insecurity, although these traits may seem out of character. Perhaps this friend sees in you the achievements or qualities they secretly desire but feel incapable of realizing. Their betrayal, then, might not be a direct assault on you, but a misguided expression of their own unmet aspirations and frustrations. Jung might say that they are projecting their shadow onto you because it's easier to confront these qualities in someone else than in themselves. From a Stoic viewpoint, this scenario presents an opportunity for us not only to guard ourselves against the pain of betrayal, but also to cultivate understanding and compassion. The Stoics teach us to look within and prepare our own souls for whatever life throws our way, including the often painful missteps of our closest allies. By fostering a strong inner life, we become less vulnerable to the actions of others, not because we erect walls, but because we understand the frailties that lead people to make such choices. By integrating Jung's psychological insights with Stoic wisdom, we gain a more nuanced appreciation for the complexities of human behavior. This blend of understanding helps us navigate our relationships more effectively, recognizing the signs of internal conflict and responding to them not with bitterness, but with empathy and strength. The process of betrayal, recognizing the signs. Betrayal often unfolds in a series of subtle shifts and changes, not as a sudden break. It's like watching the slow-motion bloom of a storm on the horizon, barely noticeable at first, but unmistakably there upon closer observation. Recognizing these signs is critical, yet it requires a keen sense of awareness, a trait deeply valued in both psychology and Stoic philosophy. Understanding the process of betrayal involves observing behaviors that might initially seem innocuous, but gradually form a pattern that indicates deeper issues. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self is particularly useful here. He proposed that aspects of ourselves that we deny or suppress do not simply disappear. They find other ways to express themselves, often in destructive ways. When someone begins to feel threatened by their own repressed desires or unresolved issues, their behavior towards others may change. Subtle at first, then increasingly overt. Stoicism, with its focus on self-control and awareness, teaches us to maintain a vigilant watch over not only our emotions, but those of others as well. For example, a friend might start with small, seemingly harmless jabs or jokes at your expense, which could escalate over time if driven by jealousy or insecurity. Seneca advised us to be as observant of the temperament and actions of our associates as we are of their character. He suggested that such vigilance helps us to discern genuine friends from those who may harbor hidden resentment or ill will. These early warning signs can be varied and complex. Perhaps someone who once shared freely suddenly becomes secretive or withdrawn. Or maybe you notice a change in their tone when they speak to you. Less warmth, more formality, as if they're slowly building a wall between you. These behavioral cues are crucial. They often precede more overt acts of betrayal and are the psyche's way of signaling unresolved inner conflicts. From a Stoic perspective, recognizing these signs isn't about becoming paranoid or overly defensive. Rather, it's about preparing ourselves to respond with equanimity and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of being attuned to the nature of our associates, understanding that each person acts according to their character. By anticipating potential betrayals before they manifest, we can protect ourselves from their worst impacts without harboring anger or resentment. The process of detecting betrayal is fundamentally about enhancing our understanding of human nature and our capacity for insight. It's about developing an empathetic yet cautious approach to relationships, where we balance trust with the wisdom of experience. As we delve deeper into the practical ways to mitigate and handle betrayal, remember that our goal is not to build barriers against others, but to fortify our internal resilience, allowing us to face whatever challenges may come with strength and dignity. Why betrayal hurts? The role of emotional investment. It's natural to wonder why acts of betrayal seem to cut deeper than other kinds of injuries or disappointments we face in life. The sting of betrayal is profoundly painful because it strikes at the very foundation of our trust and expectations in relationships. These are not just any relationships, but ones where we've invested significant emotional energy, making the impact of betrayal deeply personal and often devastating. This emotional investment is key to understanding why betrayal hurts so much. When we connect with someone, whether it's a friend, a partner, or a colleague, we're not just spending time with them. We're also sharing parts of ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our hopes. Carl Jung might say that in doing so, we project parts of our own psyche onto these relationships, seeing in them not just another person, but a reflection of ourselves and our ideals. When these relationships then turn sour, it feels like a part of ourselves has been rejected or attacked. Stoicism offers a perspective on emotional investment that can be quite enlightening here. Stoics such as Epictetus taught that while it's important to form relationships and connect with others, we must always remember that our emotional well-being should not depend entirely on others. They emphasized the concept of some things being within our control and others not, and clearly, the actions and feelings of others fall into the latter category. By mentally preparing ourselves for the possibility that even the most trusted individuals might one day betray us, we can protect our inner peace. However, recognizing the Stoic advice doesn't mean we become emotionally distant or cynical. Rather, it's about cultivating a kind of emotional resilience that allows us to care deeply for others while still maintaining a part of ourselves that is anchored firmly within our own rational and moral framework. This balance is what enables us to experience deep connections without being undone by them if they turn negative. Understanding the role of emotional investment in our reactions to betrayal also helps us navigate these painful experiences with more grace and wisdom. It reminds us that our pain is valid and reflects our capacity for deep connection, not a personal weakness. In this way, we can begin to heal by reassessing our emotional boundaries and expectations, possibly even emerging from the experience with a stronger sense of self and a clearer understanding of what we truly value in our relationships. As we move forward, we'll explore practical steps to not only foresee potential betrayals, but also to handle them when they occur, using both psychological insights and Stoic principles to guide us towards healthier, more resilient ways of relating to others. This journey is not just about avoiding pain, but about growing from our experiences. transforming potential bitterness into a deeper wisdom about human nature and our own emotional landscapes. Practical steps: foreseeing and mitigating betrayal. Navigating the turbulent waters of human relationships requires a vigilant eye and a prepared heart. Knowing how to foresee and mitigate betrayal isn't just about safeguarding ourselves from harm. It's about cultivating a deeper understanding and resilience that enriches our interactions with others while protecting our inner peace. Let's explore some practical steps to recognize early signs of betrayal and effectively shield ourselves from its more damaging effects. First and foremost, awareness is crucial. This means being attentive to subtle changes in people's behaviors and attitudes towards us. Carl Jung's insights into the shadow self are invaluable here. They teach us that what people do not consciously address within themselves often manifests in their actions, sometimes as betrayal. For example, if someone typically shares openly but starts becoming secretive or withdrawn, this could be a sign of internal conflict or a change in their feelings towards you. From a Stoic perspective, Marcus Aurelius advised vigilance in our social interactions, suggesting that we should not only listen to what people say, but also watch what they do. Stoicism teaches the importance of discerning the nature of our associations and adjusting our expectations accordingly. This means if we notice inconsistencies between someone's words and actions, or a pattern of behavior that suggests hidden motives, it might be time to reassess the trust we place in them. Another step involves setting and maintaining boundaries. This is where Stoic principles can be particularly empowering. Stoics like Epictetus emphasize the importance of focusing on what we can control, which includes our boundaries. By clearly defining what is acceptable and what is not in our interactions, we make it harder for others to disrupt our peace of mind. Boundaries also serve as a test. They can provoke reactions that reveal someone's true intentions, allowing us to see who respects our limits and who chafes against them. Communication is also key. Often, potential betrayals can be headed off through open and honest dialogue. If you sense that something is amiss, addressing it directly can not only clarify misunderstandings, but also signal to others that you are attentive and aware of the dynamics at play. This doesn't mean confronting every odd behavior, but rather choosing your battles wisely and speaking up when something truly significant appears to be brewing. Lastly, cultivating a network of support and fostering a variety of relationships can provide a safety net. Diversifying our emotional investments can help mitigate the impact of any single relationship going awry. The Stoics encourage us to cherish and nurture relationships, but also to maintain a part of ourselves that remains steadfast and undisturbed by external changes. This balance allows us to enjoy deep connections without being overly reliant on them for our happiness and self-worth. By integrating these practices into our lives, we not only better protect ourselves from betrayal, but also deepen our engagement with those around us in a more mindful and meaningful way. It's about being proactive, not reactive, shaping our relational world with intentionality and insight. As we continue to grow and learn, we find that our capacity to handle life's challenges, including betrayal, becomes one of our greatest strengths. Empowerment through understanding. As we wrap up our exploration of betrayal and the shadows it casts, it's important to remember that understanding the why and how of betrayal doesn't just help us avoid future pain, it empowers us. This empowerment comes from a deeper comprehension of human nature and our own strengths, allowing us to navigate our relationships with greater wisdom and resilience. Empowerment through understanding means recognizing that betrayal, as painful as it is, offers valuable lessons about trust, human behavior, and our own emotional responses. It prompts a reflection on our values and expectations, and in the process, sharpens our judgment. When we look at betrayal through the lens of psychology, as Carl Jung might encourage us, we see it not just as a personal attack, but as a complex interplay of individual psychologies clashing or failing to align. This perspective shifts our reaction from one of mere hurt or betrayal to one of inquiry and growth. Incorporating Stoic principles further enhances this empowerment. Stoicism teaches us that our real power lies in our response to adversity. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of facing challenges with a calm and composed mind, using them as opportunities to practice virtue and strengthen character. When we apply this to betrayal, we learn not to be swayed by external events, but to find a stable grounding within ourselves. By doing so, we maintain our dignity and peace of mind, regardless of others' actions. Moreover, this understanding encourages us not to be embittered by our experiences, but instead to use them as catalysts for personal development. Each incident of betrayal, each break in trust, can be a stepping stone to a more enlightened self, who is more discerning, less reactive, and more at peace with the complexity of human relationships. This does not mean becoming guarded or cynical, but rather developing a mature awareness of the potential for both good and ill in all relationships. Empowerment also means embracing a proactive stance in life. Instead of being a passive recipient of others' actions, understanding betrayal arms us with the knowledge and tools to actively shape our social world. It teaches us to set boundaries, communicate openly, and cultivate a diverse network of relationships, all of which enhance our emotional and social resilience. Thank you for joining us here at Stoic Journal. If you're intrigued by what you've learned and crave more insights, I encourage you to watch one of the suggested videos on your screen. Together, let's continue to explore the wisdom of Stoicism and its application in our modern lives.